one and all person here. I take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this conference for having given me an opportunity to talk about fuzzy pettiness. See, normally mathematics has a wide range of applications, and especially in modeling concepts, this pettinet is a mathematical model. So I am going to introduce this concept to the new audience, so those who are not aware of these pettinets and fuzzy pettinets. That is the aim. So he is the person, Paul Adam Petrie, who introduced this net in his PhD dissertation in 1962. Though it was introduced in 1962, the performance of modeling originates only from early 80s. I like to say the primitives of these pettinets. One is places. It is encircled as a circle. This basic symbol is called places. And second one is transitions. This is the vertical bar. This is called transitions. Directed arcs. This specify relationship between places and the transitions. So there are three basic components. One is places. It is denoted as circle. Second concept is transitions. That is denoted as bars. Third one is directed arcs from places to transitions and from transitions to places. And there is another concept called tokens. This is used to identify certain indications. This is normally placed in places. So these are the four basic components. So let me talk about this anatomy of the pettinet. This is place. The vertical bar is a transition, directed arcs, and the small block dots. This is called tokens. Now, you might have seen that there is a directed arc from this place to this transition. That means this place is called input place to the transition. And similarly here, from this transition, there is going out. So in this place is called output of the transition. So it receives an arc from this place. Therefore, this is called input. It gives information to this place, and therefore this is the output. So the transition is the machine capacity. It will get the input, do some work, and put it into the output. So this arc is called input arc. This arc is called output arc for this transition. And this is called a token. This is the structural anatomy. Dear friends, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Okay. So this is our Frederick Douglass quote. So you have to, when you try to understand a new concept, you have to struggle a little bit, not that much struggle. So let me define what is a pettinet. It is a modeling tool that consists of places, transitions, arcs, or connecting them. That's all. Now, this is an example. There are three places, P1, P2, P3. And there are three transitions, T1, T2, T3. It is not necessary that always the number of places should be equal to number of transitions. Number of places may be more, number of transitions may be less. Or number of transitions may be more and number of places may be less. Okay, for convenient I am taking the number of places is same as number of transitions here in this example. That's all. See, there are a variety of applications for these petty nets. They have been used to model concurrent and parallel systems, communication protocols, performance evaluation, distributed software systems, distributed database systems, like that. It has variety of applications, and that's why this dominates in this world of modeling theory. Now, marking of a petty net. This is another concept. I already told that there is a concept called tokens. That the tokens are put into the circles. That circles are called places. Therefore, token is put into the place. For example, in this system, the place P1, there is a token. Is there any place having tokens other than P1 here? P2, there is no token. P3, there is no token. Therefore, I can represent the number of tokens as there are 3 places. Therefore, 3 tuple. The first place, this is 1. This is called place P1. The second one is place P2. The third one is place P3. In first place P1, there is 1 token. Therefore, I put 1 here. And remaining places P2 and P3, there is no tokens. Therefore, I put 0, 0. So, if a petty net has 5 places, then marking as 5 tuple. Okay. This is behavior. For this, there is a concept called enable nets and firing concepts. For example, for this diagram, petty net, the input place for the transition T1 is P1. So the input place must have token. That is the point. Once the input is having tokens, then the transition is enabled. That is the meaning. Okay. Here for this transition T2, the input place is P2, which has no tokens. Therefore, T2 is not enabled. This is the concept. Here, there are 2 inputs for the transition T1. Place P1, place P3. All the input places must have tokens. Then only it is enabled. Here, one has token, but another is not. And therefore, this is not enabled. Do you understand what I am saying? Hello, audience?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you see that both the places which are input to the transition T1 has tokens, and therefore it is enabled. That means, for example, if I want to say, suppose I want to give some appointment to a particular person. I am checking whether he has passed in the interview. Suppose this is P1. He is passed. He is qualified or physically fit for the post. That is the condition. That is P3. If both are eligible, he has to pass in the interview as well as he has to be fit medically. If both are satisfied, then only I can give appointment to the concerned person. Like that, this T1 is the offering person of appointing order. P1 is the place which tests the eligibility of the pass in the interview. P3 is just the medical fitness. Both are satisfied, then only we are starting process of issuing the appointment order, like that. So all the inputs must have tokens, then only it is enabled. Now here, you might have seen that there are 2 inputs, both are having tokens, but still I am saying that it is not enabled because there is a number 2 on this particular arc. That means I need 2 tokens in this place. I need 2 tokens. then only it is eligible. But here this place has only one token and therefore this is not enabled. Okay. Now here you see that the place has two tokens here, two wait, two tokens. Okay, here one wait, if nothing is mentioned means the arc wait is one token, therefore this is enabled. So this is the basic concepts enableness. So once it is enabled, what is the execution part that we have to say? The execution part is called firing. Now this again enabled concept. Here not enabled because both arcs are having weight 2, one place has only one token, therefore this is not enabled. So these are the examples for enableness and not enableness. Now here you see, this is the place P1. Here T1 is a transition for which P1 is the input. Similarly, T2 is a transition for which P1 is the input. So both are ready now. Both are ready. This is also enabled. This is also enabled. So under with one token, two transitions are enabled. This is also possible. Now, what will happen once it is enabled? So this will fire. Fire means it will take the token from P1, அதாவது இன்புட்ல இருந்து டோக்கனை வெளியில எடுக்கும், அவுட்புட்ல கொண்டு போய் டெபாசிட் பண்ணும், and it will deposit into P2. See, for example, like this. So it bring out from P1 input place and deposit into output place. So this is the firing rule. So originally the marking is 1,0. First place has 1, second place has 0. After firing, the marking is changed. Marking becomes first is 0, second one is 1, and therefore 0, 1 will become the new marking. So this is after the execution firing. This is the position. So the firing positions can happen in three aspects. One is a sequencing. Second one is concurrency. Third one is synchronization. There are three levels of firing. Sequential. Now, see this net. In this stage, T1 is enabled, but T2 is not because there is no token in P2 now. Once after firing T1, what will happen? This token from P1 is taken away and deposited to P2. The first stage is over. Now, T2 is eligible. Okay, so transition T2 can fire only after the firing of T1. So this is called sequential, one followed by another. So once it is fired, now T2 is enabled. Once T2 is fired, the token which is currently in P2 will go to P3. So this is the firing execution in sequential way. Synchronization means it will take tokens from both of inputs. From here it will take, from here it will take, but it will deposit only into this place. Okay, so this is the synchronization. First it will take from here, and secondly it will take from here, and once it is firing, only one token will go to this place. So this is called a synchronization. So two tokens are taken from two input places. One is destroyed, only one can move into output place. So this is the petinet after the firing of T1. Now, so this is the model synchronization. See, in the previous case, two tokens has come out. One is destroyed, one is deposited to another. Now here what will happen? two inputs are there, but the three outputs are there. So what will happen now? See that. It will take one from first input place. It will take this token from this input place, but it has to give to three outputs. So one more will generate it, and then it will deposit into outputs like this: one to first one to second one, and one to third one. So this is called generation of tokens. So this is after firing of that. Even input place is one, output place is more. Even then, this one token will taken from the input, seeing three outputs, therefore two will generate totally three, and it will go there. So this is the generative capacity of the petri net. It can't destroy. Similarly, it can generate. So this is after firing of this transition. Concurrency means parallelly people can work. So T1 and T2 parallelly firing. So this is the situation. So this transition can fire. It will take this token and will deposit into this token. At the same time, T2 also can fire. It will take this token from this place and deposit into this place. So you see that now. This is parallelly doing. So this is called parallelism or concurrency. So after firing, this is the output. So this is the behavioral aspects. Conflict. Another important concept is conflict. That means if there is only one token, there are two transitions are ready to take this. For example, for this transition T1, there are two out inputs. One is this, another one is the middle one. Similarly, for this transition T2, there are two inputs. One is middle one and another one is the last one. Now, the middle place has one token. It is offering the token either to T1 or to T2. T1 க்கு கொடுக்கலாம் இல்ல T2 க்கு கொடுக்க முடியும், but not both. யாருக்காவது ஒருத்தவங்களுக்கு தான் கொடுக்க முடியும். T1 க்கு கொடுத்தாக்க T2 lost its chance. T2 க்கு கொடுத்தோம்னா T1 lost its chance. So this is called the conflict position. Okay. So once T1 is fired, T2 is loses its chance. So, okay, there are many tokens in a place, which is an input of a transition, but there is no output. Even then, the transition can fire. The token will destroy automatically. For example, it one removed, remaining four tokens. Another time, T fires, it gone out. So remaining three tokens. Again, I can fire T, gone out. There are two tokens. I can fire T. Another one. The last token is there. Still I can fire. Okay. Now there is no token in my input place. Therefore, there is no possibility of firing. Therefore, it is not enabled. So when there is no output at all, we can do firing. Still the input place is having tokens. There are three different of studies are there in petri nets. One is about the structural properties. Another one is about the behavioral properties. Third one is about language aspects of properties. So all those properties can be studied for petri nets. So let me move to behavioral because that is important one. Dear friends, nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. So you should have some interest to learn new things. This is commercial quote. So how this but it works. As I said, these are one particular component or doing like that. Let us start with a complete system. There are 3 places and 2 transitions. The first place, P1 has how many tokens?
3 tokens.
Very good. And second place, P2 has 2 tokens.
2 tokens.
And P3 has no token, and therefore the marking is this. The first place has 3 tokens, second place has 2 tokens, and third place has no tokens. So this is the marking. Right now, what are the transitions which are eligible, that is enabled? So for this transition P2, input is P3. There is no token in this place P3. Therefore, T2 is not enabled. But what about T1? There are 2 places which are inputs to T1. One is the place P1, another one is place P2. So my intention is both place P1 as well as place P2 must have tokens. Now we are happy to see that P1 and P2 are having tokens, and therefore T1 is eligible or enabled. So under this marking, T1 is enabled. That is the green side. Once it is enabled, what will happen? It will take 1 token from P1 and 1 token from P2. Okay, fine. What about the remaining tokens there? Once from P1, 1 token is taken out, 2 more tokens will be there. Once P2 is 1 token is from P2, P2 is taken out, so there is remaining 1 token will be there. That is the position. Then after firing, what will happen? What are the outputs for T1 here? P3 as well as P2. So P2 will receive 1 token after firing. P3 will receive 1 token after firing. So now you see that this is the situation. After firing of T1, 2 tokens are in P1. From P2, 1 is taken out and one is deposited. Therefore, 2 remains 2. P2, earlier there is 4 tokens, but now after firing of T1, it receives 1 token. Therefore, the marking is 1. 2, 2, 1. Right now, place P1, P2, P3, all the places are having tokens, and therefore T2 is also enabled, T1 is also enabled. Now, there are 2 circumstances. So, we can allow parallelly. I can fire T1 as well as T2. But just for the explanation purpose, I am moving through T1. First, again, I am firing T1. Once I am firing T1, what will happen? From these 3 tokens, from P1, 1 will be taken out and 1 will be deposited in P3 after firing. Similarly, here regarding P2, 1 will taken before firing. After firing, 1 will go there. Therefore, the 2 remains same in all these cases. Now, again here under this marking, T1 fires. What will happen? You see that. So here 1 token in P1, 2 tokens in P3. Here P2 remains 2 tokens. Again, there is a possibility. T1 can fire, T2 can fire. So there are 2 possibilities here, branch. I can fire T1 or I can fire T2. I allow T1 again. Okay. 0, 2, 3. This is the marking. Now, T1 has, this is not enabled now. T2 is the only transition which is eligible. So I can go for T2. T2 is enabled. Once T2 is enabled, from 3 tokens, 1 will be removed. Therefore, the marking will be 0, 2, 2. Again, I can fire T2. Once after firing T2, the marking will become 0, to 1 because the P2 has no change. So again I can fire T2. What will happen? The last token in P3 will destroy. So 0 to 0. Now the execution is over. There is no possibility of firing. T1 is also not eligible. T2 is also not eligible. Therefore, this marking is called a dead marking. This marking is called a dead marking. Okay, sir. Well, you have two chances here. You can go through T1 or you can go through T2. But you skipped T2, you moved along T1. Can I further go there and start T2? Yes, you can. Now, under this marking, 2 to 1, I can fire T2. So once I fired T2, the token in P3 will removed. Therefore, the marking will be 2 to 0. Now, T2 loses the chance. T1 is the only thing. Therefore, T1 is fired. Once I fire this, I can get this. So in such a way, we can move all the possibilities till I get a dead marking. So these are all the collection of our sequence of transitions we have fired. So this sequences of transitions which we have fired is called language of the petinates. So this graph is called the reachability graph. This is the original marking 3 to 0. Once T1 is fired, I get this marking. There are two possibilities. I can go along T1 or I can go along T2. If I go with the T1, this is the marking. And further, there is two possibilities, T1, T2. And however, I am getting a graph. This graph is called reachability graph of this patinate with particular marking. So this is the collection of sequences. There are many subclasses for petinates. So when I am restricting certain conditions on inputs and outputs for places, similarly when I am restricting certain conditions, inputs and outputs on the transitions, we can get different type of subclasses of petinates. So this is ordinary petinate. That means each arc has weight only 1. There is no multiplicity. There is no weight on the arcs. So this type of petinate is called ordinary petinate. This is not an ordinary petinate. Why? Because, any reason for this?
2 is mark, sir.
Yeah, the weight from T2 is 2. Therefore, this is not an ordinary petinate. Next, marked graph. Marked graph means for each place, there should be only one incoming arc and there should be only one outgoing arc. For each place, for every circle, only one incoming arc, only one outgoing arc. That means only one input, exactly one output. So such a petinate is called marked graph. You might have seen this. In all the places, there are 8 places in this petinate. All the 8 places, there is only one input and only one output. I am not worrying about transitions. I am only worrying about the places for the case of marked graphs. This is not a marked graph. Why? See the place P5 here. How many input arcs are there? Hello, I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many inputs arcs are there for P5? 2.
2, 2.
Therefore, this is not allowed. Similarly here, how many output torques for P4? P4 ல இருந்து எத்தனை output போகிறது? 2
two, sir.
அதனால வந்து it is not a marked graph. So the similar condition may be imposed on transitions also. For each transition, there must be only one incoming arc and only one outgoing arc. That type of petty net is called state machines. That is called state machine. Each transition has exactly one input and exactly one output. So that is called state machines. Now you may see this. There are how many transitions I have drawn here? 6 transitions. 7. Sorry. There are 7 transitions. All the transitions have only one input and only one output, and therefore this is a state machine. This state machine is called automata. Therefore, I can say this petty net is a generalization of a automata. This is not a state machine because the transition T2 has 2 incoming arcs. Similarly, the transition T4 here has 2 output arcs, and therefore this is not a state machine. Then conflict free, I already told conflicts are there, and therefore I don't want these conflicts, and therefore conflict free nets are considered. This conservative, that means we already told that the tokens may be destroyed, and sometimes the tokens may be generated based on the outputs of the petty transition. Here, I don't want to destroy the tokens. Similarly, I don't want to increase the tokens, generates the tokens. So presently there are 3 tokens in my net. Whatever is the transition firing, I want only 3 tokens in the net. But this 3 may be distributed in some other places. For example, if I fire T2, this is the case. How many tokens are there in the net now? How many tokens in the net?
One, sir, one.
Again, 3 tokens. One is here, one is here, one is here. So the tokens or number of tokens remains the same. Number of tokens remains the same. Here further, if I am doing that, still I have only 3 tokens. The positions are changed, the token positions. Here again 3 tokens. Here again 3 tokens. So this is not a conservative petty nets, because if I fire T2 tokens, sorry, I cannot fire T2 now. Now see that, yeah. If I fire T2, 2 tokens taken out and 1, 2 will here. There are 4 tokens right now, and it will destroy the tokens, and therefore this is not a conservative petty nets. Generally speaking, number of input torques should be equal to number of output torques totally. Then that will become a conservative petty net. Bounded petty nets. Bounded means at any cost, the total number of tokens in a particular place never exceed certain number. So such a net is called bounded petty net. For example, if I fire this transition, it will move here. Then if I fire now, 1 token will becomes 2. After that, while firing this, these 2 will be taken out and 1 will be deposited again. So this was is called bounded. Totally maximum of 2 tokens is allowed or coming to a particular place here. But unbounded means you are allowing a particular place to receive any number of tokens. See, for example, for this execution, here, once I firing this is the case. Now, once I firing this transition, I will get one token here. I will get one token here. Then this token, once I firing this one, this is removed. Again, another cycle has come. Now there are 2 tokens. Third cycle, 3 tokens. So the number of token is increasing. And therefore, this net is called unbounded net. Unsafe petty nets. That means the bound concept is 1. At any cost, the number of tokens in each place never exceed 1. Either there may be 1 or no tokens. That is called safe, unsafe petty nets. Dear friends, it is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is we have to use it well. This is Ronnie Descartes' force. See, algebraically, there are groups, rings, and everything you might have seen. No. Now, what we did is, in 2008, we have constructed algebraic petty nets, especially conservative petty nets for a given symmetric group, S3. So, myself and my student, Dr. Rajeshwari, there exists an algebraic conservative petty net for every symmetric group with a generating set. If you are given a symmetric group with generating set, it is possible to construct a petty net which is conservative. We proved this. So this is an example for diagram. Again, for a group Z10 with generating set A, we can construct a conflict-free bounded petty net. So this is a theorem. There exists a bounded conflict-free petty net for every group Z10 with generating set A. This is the diagram for Z8 and the generating set is 537 like that. Marked graphs for the diagonal group D2N with the generating set, we can construct a marked graph. This also we proved this theorem in 2008. This is the marked graph for the diagonal group D8. And we proved the following, the theorem. The constructed marked graph for the group D2N is conservative. Second theorem, we proved the constructed marked graph for the group D2NA is not safe. That means token as exceeding 1. Theorem, the constructed marked graph for the group D2NA is bounded. These are the theorems we proved. And generalizing that, there exists a marked graph for every symmetric group with the generating sets. Okay. So this is the general case. Dual of the net means once you are given a net, change the places into transitions and the transitions into places. Then we will get the dual of the net. With the help of the dual of the net, we have modeled water cycle, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, and phosphorus cycles. Okay. So this is the dual net for the symmetric groups. The water cycle can be modeled as a dual net of the marked graph of S3. Myself, Dr. Balamurugan and Thomas marked petty net for water cycle. in 2012. It appeared in Procedure Engineering, Elsewhere paper. So this is the water cycle petri net. The carbon cycle can be modeled as the dual net of the market graph. Myself, Nyanraj Thomas, and Balamurugan. Group Associated Petri Nets in Biocomputing. Lecture notes in Computer Science, Springer in 2012. We modeled these. Carbon cycle we have modeled. Oxygen cycle can be modeled as the dual net of the market graph. Again, Balamurugan, myself, and Thomas. This is presented in the conference on Information and Mathematical Sciences in Punjab. It is published as an Elsewhere proceedings. This is oxygen cycle. Nitrogen cycle. Myself, Janraj Thomas, and Balamurugan. We model the nitrogen cycle in the form of a petri net, which is the dual of the net of the constructed bounded conflict-free petri net. So these are the atmospheric nitrogen, nitrogen from animals, nitrogen from nitrates, organic nitrogen components, and nitrogen from decomposers, nitrogen from ammonia, and nitrogen from plants, and nitrogen from nitrates, like that. So what are the possibilities of collecting nitrogens? And we have modeled this as so வரப்பா ஒரு மீட்டிங் இருக்கு முடிச்சுட்டு வரேன். So this is phosphorus cycle. Myself, Nyanraj Thomas, and Balamurugan, we constructed phosphorus cycle in the form of petri net, which is the dual net of the constructed bounded conflict-free petri net. Phosphate from fertilizers, animal phosphate, phosphate in fossils, rock, plant phosphate, organic wastes and remains, organic phosphate in soils and rivers, decomposers, and phosphate from oceanic sediments. So we taken all those components and we designed this as a model. So there are many extensions of petri nets. One is colored petri nets, another one is timed petri nets, augmented petri nets, fuzzy petri nets, self-modifying petri nets with interpreter rods. So today we are going to touch about these fuzzy petri nets. See, Professor Dr. John Lukasiewicz, he is the person, he is a Polish philosopher. He introduced the concepts fuzzy or multi-valued logic, which was introduced in 1930 itself. While classical logic operates with only two values, 1 and 0, 1 stands for trueness and 0 stands for false. He introduced a logic that extended the range of truth values between 0 and 1. So this latter becomes a theory called possibility theory. What are the possible values taken from the interval 0, 1? So this is called possibility theory. And based on this only, Professor Zadeh, founder of fuzzy sets, we known as, is a mathematician, electrical engineer, and a professor of computer science at University of California. So in 1965, he published his famous paper on fuzzy sets. The problem is that. So Zadeh extended the possibility theory into a formal system of mathematical logic and introduced a new concept for applying natural language terms. So now this new logic is called fuzzy logic. So fuzzy has plenty of applications. The theory of fuzzy sets and fuzzy logic has been applied to problems in a variety of fields: taxonomy, topology, linguistics, logic, automata theory, game theory, pattern recognition, medicine, law, decision support, information retrieval, petty nets, and everywhere. Now we are using fuzzy sets and fuzzy logic. Now, Professor Shimin Chen is Department of Computer Science and Information Engineering, National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, Taiwan. He is the person who combined the concepts of Paul Adam Petri Petinet and Professor Zade's logic, fuzzy logic, combinedly gives fuzzy pettinets. So, fuzzy logic plus fuzzy pettinets combinedly give the concepts of fuzzy pettinets. So, this is the idea from Zade and Professor Petri, and this is the person. Okay. Now there are many categories of fuzzy pettinets. Basic fuzzy pettinets, fuzzy timed pettinets, fuzzy colored pettinets, adaptive fuzzy pettinets, composite fuzzy pettinets. There are plenty. I have mentioned a few. Dear friends, imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited, but imagination can surpass the world. This is Albert Einstein quote. Okay, so you have to imagine how to apply this into other areas. So there are plenty of applications for fuzzy pettinets has been proposed in many different fields like knowledge-based decision making, communications, manufacturing systems, electronics, civil engineering, education, traffic control, like that. See, there are plenty. Let me how we are associating fuzzy concepts into pettinets. The tokens are there. The tokens may have fuzzy set definition. The arcs are there. The arcs may be evaluated by some natural language expression. That means the transitions represent fuzzy relation corresponding to if then rule. If this is true, then this will happen. If raining is there, you stop going out without umbrella, like that. Here in Chennai, there is a heavy rain right now. It's going on. Vague elements in process. Standard pettinet expresses status using tokens. If the expression is true, token is included. If expression is false, token is not included. This is the fuzziness in the tokens. We can apply fuzzy rules as a fuzzy values like small, many, middle, etc. into a pettinet. Okay. So this is a formal definition. I won't explain these things, but along with the original pettinet places transitions input output. There are two functions, alpha and beta. Beta is associated to transitions. Alpha is associated to places. Okay, so simply, for example, if x1 is a1, then y is b. For example, consider heavy longer room. Suppose in the case of summer, if the room temperature is high, what will happen? Or let me go for the traffic. For example, this is a signal. If traffic is heavy, then keep green light duration for a longer period. See that this signal is allotted 30 seconds. This is also 30 seconds. But here there are traffic is heavy. Therefore, this enhanced to 45. Now If all the vehicles have moved out of that, then allow this. So this is called if the traffic is heavy, keep the green signal for a long period. Another example, in case of AC machines, if the temperature is heavy, then allow the compressor to run for a longer period. So this is the situation A1 and X1, Y. If A1 in X, then P in Y. This is the model. If X1 is A1, then Y is B. Similarly, there are more like this. There are more conditions than this. Suppose there is a subscriber want to buy a lot of goods, which cost a lot. Already he has a huge debt in the particular showroom. The system itself decide already the debt is more, and presently this gentleman has come and asking, demanding more items. So what we have to do? The system will decide already your debt is more, your demand is more, and therefore we won't give all the things which you demand. So it will decide like this. If then rule will look like if the debt is huge and the requirement is huge, then the purchase limit P is low. Purchase limit is low. The system will decide like this. So this is if then rules are allowed to execute in the petty nets. So when debt is huge, the request is also huge, then the limit for the purchase becomes low. This is the model. This is the model. So water mixer is another example. We need not go there. It will take time. So already we are reaching B. I will just say one execution rule in the firing. Yeah. Now this is a fuzzy petty net. Already petty net is there. I am associating tokens. Alpha is 0.926 token. Here 1.0 is here. Here for this transition P2, two inputs. One is from P1, another is from P2. There are three outputs. One is to P3, another one is to P4, another one is P5. What is the rule? Now for this T2, 0.5 is allocated. This will become enabled provided the token values must be greater than this 0.5. Here this token value is 0.9, this token value is 1.0, both are greater than 0.5. Therefore, this transition T2 is enabled. Okay, fine. Once after this is enabled, what is the output? See that this output for this P3, the output weight is 0.1. For this, from the second, this T2, output place is P4 with fuzzy value 0.9. And for the third arc, which is for this place P3, the fuzzy value is 0.1. Okay. Now, what is the firing? Okay. Now, let me fire T2. T2 means First, it will consider among this 0.9, 1.0, which is the least, it will select 0.9, that is one value. Then it outputs 0.1. So from minimum of this input places, அதை விட இந்த 0.1 இந்த ரெண்டுல எது மினிமம் 0.9 0.1. So 0.1 is minimum, therefore the token value in P3 must be 0.1. Similarly, for the place P4, here already here 0.9, here 1. From these two, the smallest is 0.9. Here the output is also 0.9. Minimum of 0.9 and this 0.9 is 0.9. Therefore, the token value is 0.9. For the case here P3, among this P1 and the P2, the minimum value is 0.9, and the input torque is from T2 is firing now. T2 nude input torque 0.1, 0.1, 0.9. அது ரெண்டுல minimum எதுனா 0.1. Therefore, this is the token value. So this is the fuzzy pettinets. This is the firing rule of fuzzy pettinets. So this is entirely a different model, though it rising from pettinets. The firing execution is changed. So in such a way we are doing this, and we are getting markings in different ways according to this definition. What I said, this is the initial marking. Initially we have chosen minimum of these two. Then another weight I am choosing. With all those things, I am getting this. This is the formula. Don't worry about it. So we are values are calculated like this. So if you are allowing P1, we will get different marking. If you are allowing P3, we will get different marking like this. There are 4 reachable markings. Okay. So there are plenty of ways of fuzzy combining pettinets and fuzzy weights. One way is defining fuzzy marking. Another way is define fuzzy marking by attaching location of fuzzy set of places. Still another way is associate fuzzy variable with tokens. So there are plenty of ways we can generate or model the fuzzy pettinets according to our requirement. So dear friends, learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. This is Confucius statements. So we might have used these pettinets, fuzzy pettinets in different aspects. So that is the logic. There are plenty of applications. So it is there. A model was proposed for traffic control where the combination of fuzzy pettinets and neural networks were used. Again, using fuzzy pettinets, knowledge-based decision-making system for railway traffic control has been proposed. Again, there are plenty of, you might have seen in many of the articles the applications of these pettinets. Once anybody is interested, you can go through these fuzzy pettinets articles and you can do it well. There are 3. I hope I have to finish by 3 o'clock as per the time given by the organizers. Adaptive fuzzy net is there. Composite fuzzy pettinets are there. Real-time neural networks and fuzzy pettinets are there. Prediction of failure in an industrial system has been proposed using fuzzy pettinets. Error detection and diagnosis in a complex computer-controlled systems were studied. So these are the conclusions. Fuzzy pettinets have a rich body of knowledge. Fuzzy pettinets are applied successfully to a broad range of problems. Analysis and synthesis results are available for subclasses of fuzzy pettinets. There are much work remains to be done.